and welcome.
This is awkward. Good morning and welcome to episode number 2 of the Ascension journey.
Chit-chat.
Raising conscious kids. A conscious child is a child that is conscious of themselves, their surroundings and their emotions. And that's what we're trying to instill in our children, is them being completely conscious. So while discussing this, we just want to put a disclaimer out there. We're not saying that our way of parenting is the best way to parent at all. We're not saying is right for our children. Yeah. So, you know.
You can agree or disagree, let us know.
Yeah. Like if you parent completely different.
Always open-minded to learning. Maybe there's different ways we can parent that are.
There's a plethora of different styles to parent children. A lot of parents structure, like I said, everything their children do. They structure their play. They control every environment that their children enter. For us, I think it creates a lot of anxiety when children do that, when children are put into those kinds of environment. And also it leaves no room for error. We're raising, like, society as a generalization, they're raising their children not to fail, but when you don't fail, you don't grow. You can't learn to do anything on your own if your parents do everything for you.
Failure is the best teacher.
So I get told a lot that, Nalani's so clingy, I don't know, you hold her too much or you kiss her too much, but that's important for a child's development, and it's actually scientifically proven. There are plenty of peer-reviewed studies where they assess the relationship between a parent and their children within the first 1,000 days and from conception up until the age of 3, and how your child develops and what they're exposed to in that time sets them up for the rest of their life and the person and the adult that they will become. YouTube the first 1,000 days, you'll encounter a doctor, a pediatrician who discusses it, and he uses an example. So your first child is scientifically proven to be your most successful and well nurtured and all-rounded child out of all your children. And that is because, they're the only one. Yeah, they're the only child, and they get the most attention and the most connection with you, whereas your second child, you have to share that attention. And your second child doesn't usually get as much attention as the first child did, and as much love and care, even though that's horrible to say.
It's just what it is. It's just two kids there.
Yeah, and you've got to divide that time between the two of them.
Once the second kid comes along, can't pretend the first one's not there.
Yeah, exactly. But where our situation is different is that there's a 10-year gap between our two children, so it was like having an only child again. And so I only work weekends, so I have that Monday to Thursday where it's just her and I, fully connecting. Go play. I mean, that bond and connection with your child in those first 1,000 days is really important. So, what are you talking about?
Big sentence.
That was a big one. Oh, beautiful. So yeah, she is really connected to me, and she's really attached, and she co-sleeps with us. Yeah, no, don't touch. But that's because we want that, and we're not saying that you have to do all these things. This is just what makes us comfortable as parents. We like feeling her next to us.
Makes them comfortable as kids too.
Yeah, we really try and engage with our children and make sure that when they have our attention when they are asking for it. So if our children are having conversations with them, and I'm really guilty of this, sometimes I am like in a bad mood, so I will just dismiss Lamaya when she's trying to have a conversation with me, but I usually am like, I'm really sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
I have to give Asher a little nudge.
Yes.
Your daughter's trying to talk to you.
And then
be attentive for 5 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. And that's really important for, them. They've obviously, even though you may feel like it's not important, it's really important to them. And
we both do that to each other.
Yeah.
I suppose I'll have lapses sometimes where I'm not being as attentive as it should be.
Yeah. But, you know, and we all have it, and everyone's guilty of doing it. You know, we'll apologise, and I think that's a really...
Not bad.
Yeah.
Nice delivery.
Is that your opinion on that situation?
Is that your final answer?
I think it's really important that if you do make a mistake, that you do, like, you acknowledge that you've made a mistake, and you tell your child that you're sorry that you made a mistake, and then you rectify the problem. Because what happens is
admitting fault.
You're admitting fault, yeah.
Which means you're accepting it, and it can be moved on. There's no need for a blame game or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just I take it on the chin. That was my bad. Let's move on. Let's do it.
Because what happens is when you make a mistake and you don't own up to your mistakes, your children learn those behaviours, and they go into adulthood thinking that they should be doing the same thing. Yeah. But not even that. Even through their childhood, they don't accept blame for things. They don't have any accountability. And then by showing them that you're being accountable for your actions, they learn to do the same thing. And they can do it comfortably and confidently.
How many times do you see in movies or anything like that, whose fault was it? And two kids will go like this and point at each other.
Yeah.
It's like you're almost taught to blame other people instead of finding your own fault first.
So we really teach Lamaya that if she makes a mistake, that she needs to tell us about it. So if she messes up, if she spills something, for example, or if she breaks something, you know, if you tell us and if you're honest with us, we're not going to get angry at you, but we will get angry at you if you lie about it. Or if you don't tell us about it and we find out about it, we'll get really upset about it. There was an incident where she broke our laptop charger, and she was really, really upset about it. And she came up to us and, you know, she said, "Mum, I've got something to tell you. I broke your laptop charger." The moment she did it, she came up and she admitted it straight away. I was really...
You instantly know that being angry about it is not going to
solve the problem.
It's not going to solve anything. It's not going to make anything better.
It's going to make things worse. You're going to create anxiety within your child. You're going to make them feel worse than they already do. And she came up and we knew that she
sincerity in her voice. We already knew she was sorry. We didn't need to drive it out of her again or anything like that. She knew, and she's admitted to it, and we go from there. We move on. We fix it. Yeah,
and that was the thing. And, you know, we said to her, you know, I'm really disappointed that you did that, but thank you so much for being honest with us, and thank you for you know, communicating with us so openly and so quickly about the situation.
Mum.
Thank you. So now it's really important to us that we have meaningful conversations with our children, not generic conversations. What are you doing today? You know, what did you do today?
Yeah.
What are you going to be doing?
More engaging questions, not just dead-end questions that just get a plain answer. And ask a question that engages.
Open-ended questions.
Yeah, and then engages them to maybe ask another question about something.
So, like, we'll ask her questions, you know, how was your day? Did you enjoy school today? What did you like about it? What did you like about that subject, or about that thing that you did today? What didn't you like about it?
Just engages open conversation.
Yeah, that's where a lot of parents get lost, is that they dictate the person and, you know, the personality that your children should have. I think it's been indoctrinated into us that your child should just be well-mannered and they should stay in a straight line their whole lives and not stray from that line. Like with children, they think that, you know, you go to a restaurant and babies should just be quiet and sit there and not do anything. That's not the case at all. That's how they learn. They learn through conversation. They learn through asking questions. You know, and parents would know this, that your kids ask you why a lot. They ask you why, and you get annoyed. But if you answer their questions, then they'll stop asking you. They are asking you questions because
they're genuinely curious.
Yeah,
they want to know answers to everything,
and that's what
give them the answers.
We're their teachers, we're their first teachers, their first point of contact, but they're also our teachers, and they teach us every day as well. When they ask why, they're critically thinking. They're learning how to critically think. And by us dismissing them and saying, no, don't worry about it, just because I said so, that is completely destroying their ability.
Making them close.
And it destroys their ability to learn how to critically think. That's how you learn to think in a critical way, is by asking questions and then acting on it. So we're the type of parents that like to see our children just try and do their best. Okay, focus now. Let's get this done because I'm hungry. So yeah, we're kind of relaxed parents, as you know, some people would say, but I love you. I love you.
And those little things, let them
explore.
If they start to wander, let them go for a bit. Just watch them. Watch with it. I love doing it. I love watching her just walk around and where's she going to next? Let's just, instead of picking her up and putting her somewhere and going, you've got to stay in this area.
Let them explore.
Let them roam, let them explore.
And if
who knows, they might just do it once and go, oh, this is boring, and they won't go wandering to somewhere you don't want them to again.
But and if they do hurt themselves, they're going to learn not to do that thing again.
Yeah. We talk about bad things or whatever, they scar kids for life or whatever.
But they don't.
Maybe they do, but what's wrong with the scar sometimes if it's taught them a good lesson to not do something again?
Darling. So I think there's some questions you really need to ask yourself with the type of parent you are. Are you a dictator? Are you controlling with your children? We're sort of more the relaxed type of parents. We're still firm with her and we're very assertive. Right? We do have boundaries. But for example, with her
should have said that. Within letting her wander around and roam and explore, we don't
just let her roam wild.
Yeah.
We do have boundaries that we have in place. And our children do know boundaries. Our children are very well behaved and respectful. Well, our old one is. She doesn't know what that is yet. She's still learning all of that. So we're more of the type of relaxed parents. We still have boundaries that we have, and our children, are free to roam within those boundaries. With schooling in particular, we don't mind what grade she gets as long as she has got the effort there and she exerts effort. And she does. On all her report cards, she may get C's here and a D there, but she's generally good in that aspect. But she's got an A+ for effort for every single subject she does, and we can't fault her for that. A lot of parents would get in the mind of, you didn't get an A for this, what's a C? You got a C here, you should have done better than that. And they don't look at the effort that their child exerted in that subject. Now, Lamaya exerts 100% effort into every aspect of her schooling life. Why would we discourage her after she's gotten these grades, but she's put in the effort for it? It's important to note that all children learn completely different. Some children can sit in front of a whiteboard and just look and memorize everything on there, but some children you actually really have to engage with for them to understand anything that's being spoken to them.
Yeah, like Asha just said, there's plenty of different ways students and kids learn, alternative ways of learning, and whether it be visual, physical, verbal, so many ways of learning, and the schooling system, the government schooling system, I don't think covers it all.
A really good example of that is when you sit for your final exams and you get an OP, which is an overall ranking pretty much.
It was based on how your school went as a whole.
As a whole.
You could be the absolute most intelligent student in all of the country, and you could be in maybe the worst school and you won't get an AP1.
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
So our hope is that by the time she goes to high school, she's at a Montessori school. We've applied for her to go to a Montessori school, and if you don't know anything about Montessori schools, then you need to look them up. They are the best way for your children to learn. And
how they learn, it's what they learn as well.
Yeah, exactly.
You think of traditional schooling as you go to maths, English, science. If your kid doesn't want to do anything to do with any of them, and
it's not important.
There's something that is super interesting to them that doesn't fit that school system, and they can learn it and they can be the best in the world at it. Why would you hold them back from that?
Because I don't know about you, but I can't remember the last time I used Pythagoras theorem ever. I can't remember the last time I used geometry, because you don't use it for the rest of your life.
No. Me, I was very good at maths. I was really poor at English, and writing essays and stuff like that. Didn't mean that I was
dumb.
Yeah, dumb or
exactly
anything like that. It was just, it wasn't how I learned, how I operated. I don't know. It just didn't. It didn't fit in with how I thought the world went.
Yeah. Schools don't prepare children for adulthood, like we said before. They don't teach you how to do your washing, how to pay for your bills, how to do your taxes. Most kids that come out of school and get their first job don't even know what tax is. They don't know that they're meant to do a tax return at the end of every financial year because the school doesn't teach them that that's what they need to do.
Think of that as the school doesn't want to teach them because the government doesn't want to teach them because they want to keep taxpayers coming out of the system. Say it again, we're still learning as well, so it's things that we feel like what we're saying about wanting to send Lamar to Montessori school. It's something we've just recently learned. We're still learning about what we want for our children and that.
And ways in which we can implement that. Yeah, we're making really like a real conscious effort to make sure that we are implementing certain things better our children's lives and better their health and better their overall wellness. Our main priority is raising good human beings over anything. I don't care what job my children have. As long as they're good human beings, they're respectful and they've got good manners.
Yeah.
That's all I care about. And then after all of that, then education can come in. Woohoo! Yay! You did such a good job!
Everybody's small.
So one thing that we're really trying to do is to limit the amount of screen time our children receive. So at the moment, Nalani's only allowed to watch TV once a week, and that's today.
The irony is she is watching TV right now, so we can
record this video. And that's the only time she's allowed to watch TV. Other than that, we're getting her out into nature, outdoor play, creative play, a lot of sensory stuff now.
Sunlight.
Yeah, sunlight, getting her cells excited by vitamin D. So we want to develop her brain and not just plonk her in front of a screen. And you see a lot of children now, they get angry when they're not allowed to.
They chuck a hissy fit.
When they're not allowed to have someone's phone or watch YouTube. They actually have a full proper meltdown when they can't get what they want.
You literally liken it to an adult that's addicted to heroin or something like that.
Yeah.
They can't get their fix. They're addicted.
There's more actual studies on this as well, where addiction from screens, social media, games, it's the same as a drug addict, and it lights up the same the same parts in the brain as drug addicted people. Why screen time is really bad for your children is that you have a protective sheath around your brain called the myelin sheath that's not fully formed until the age of 25. Giving your child too much screen time literally is destroying their brains before it's even fully developed. A person who talks a lot about this is Dr. Jack Kruse, and he's an American neurologist and neurosurgeon. I will put the links in the description so you can go and read all about it, because it's just way too much to put all in one video. But he is doing some great things in the world in terms of screen time.
You could see him as controversial too, but he's too informative not to listen to.
I know, and when it comes to a brain, why would you not listen to a neurosurgeon, right? I think it's like a lot of convenience for parents is, here, have this iPad, go watch this movie so that I can do what I want to do. And I think, although that you've had kids and you think you're having me time, unfortunately, you've got to look after your kids' health and well-being though before you worry about yourself. And you see that a lot.
What better way of looking after yourself as well than getting into the playground with them?
Exactly.
And getting out to the park, getting out in the sunlight as well. Interacting
with them. And this is where interaction and engaging comes along. When you are giving your child the screen so you can go and do whatever you want to do, you're missing an important opportunity to have a connection with your child in that moment. A very good example was my childhood. I don't have connections with my parents anymore, and I don't want my child to be like that. I don't want my children to grow up and we don't share a good bond and a good connection.
Create memories other than seeing mum or dad looking like this the whole time.
Yeah, but I don't have memories of experiences with my mum, and I want my daughter to remember experiences. So we make an effort. We go down to the beach and we're in the rock pools looking for, you know, for creatures together, and we're exploring ecosystems, different ecosystems. These are the things that she's going to remember. Kids don't remember how much money you spent on them. They don't remember all the activities you enroll them into. So I hear this a lot too, like, oh, my kid does this and they do little athletics and I let them play football every weekend and I let them do this and they go here and they do that. But how much of all those things are you actually engaging with your child?
Yeah.
Your child's not going to remember all that when they're older. They're not going to remember the time that they spent with you. They're only going to remember the time that they didn't spend with you. So taking away from all of this, I think it's really important that we really encourage our children instead of like immediately criticizing them. Like in the sporting arena, a lot of parents yell and dictate to their kids on the sideline. Whereas, you know, when Lamaya's playing sport or anything along the lines of that, we're really encouraging. She'll come off the field and go, you know, you're doing a really good job.
Big difference between constructive criticism and
just criticism. It's the delivery of the way you're saying something. It's what, you know, your children take away from that. Your children are more likely to succeed at the thing you're trying to, you know, let them succeed at by the way you deliver your speech to them. So, you know, we always say to them, you know, you're doing a really good job, you know, maybe when you go back out there you could do this or you could do that, or, you know, try doing this when you go out there, instead of going, you know, you need to, when you go out there you need to do this, you know, you need to do that.
That was rubbish what you did. That's not constructive criticism. That's putting them down.
You know, just the way you deliver things to your children, the way you say things to them, it really matters. Allow your child to find out who they are in the world, find their own personality, find who they want to be instead of dictating everything. You know, again, we're not saying that our way of parenting is the best way to parent. That's just the way we parent, and that's the way we think is best for our children personally. And we're not saying what you're doing is wrong, and we don't want to make anyone feel like
would love to hear what people do.
That's just the way we do our friends.
Always learn something. You can never stop learning.
Yeah. There's no one right way to parent.
That's because there's no one type of child. Every child's unique and different in every way, and so does the way you parent them has to be unique and different.
Yeah, every child's needs are different, and like I said earlier, every child learns differently. So you just adapt your parenting to suit your child. And you know, the way that we parent Lamaya is going to be different than the way we parent Nalani, because they're completely different children, and we don't want to raise them to be the same kind of person. We hope you enjoyed this conversation that we shared with you. And we hope you can take some of our tips away and, you know, and to put that into the way you parent your children. Or, you know, if you have tips for us, we'd love to hear it. Like Cameron said, we're very open-minded, and yeah, we like to hear all different ways that we could better our children's lives. So yeah, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Good work, darling. I'm proud of you.
Fuck that.